COT data video for the week beginning the 13th of April 2026. Now, I guess before we talk about the COT data, and before we talk about the macro fundamentals, and before we talk about the bot, because there's a bit to cover, let's just look at the bubbles. And so if you're not sure about the bubbles, basically it's fairly straightforward. Is that if a bubble's up here, it tells us that the retail are net long. We'll just do that. And if it's down here, then they're net short. So if they're short, it should be bullish. If they're long, it should be bearish. And so we can see we've got a slightly bearish view of the yen, the CAD, the USD, and the New Zealand dollar. And we've got a slightly bullish view on the pound, the euros, Swiss, and the Aussie. And what would be really good confirmation, so we've got a negative here and we've got a positive here. See, negative is bullish and positive is bearish. So if yen, we know it's already net long, but if they add, it's going to be more bearish. Okay, it's going to be a strong sell if the yen comes over here. If the Aussie comes over here, we've got a -1, so they've sold. If they sell it, it's going to be bullish for us. So a really good setup would be for Aussie to come over here, or the euro, or the Swiss, and the yen to come over here, and then you're looking to punish that, punish the retail guys there. Okay, so looking okay for yen weakness, Aussie strength, euro strength, and Swiss strength. Potentially CAD weakness. Now, CAD and the dollar weakness aligns to the macro fundamentals because currently we're having negotiations about opening the straits, and Iran have sent a delegation, and the foreign minister is there. America has sent the vice president, so the talks are ongoing. It's looking positive, and there's not going to be a supply shock around the world, and some countries were actually going to be, they were almost like on the precipice of like a mini disaster with their energy, especially New Zealand. They were going to run out of gas, so obviously if that would just crater the economy, it would be really, really bad fundamentals. But now we've got negotiations, so we should see risk on flows, and we should probably see a weak CAD because of the oil connection. There's going to be less demand for CAD, and we could see a weaker dollar for the fact that the crowd are long, and also we should be risk on, and it is acting strongly as a safe haven right now, the USD. So if we are risk on, there may not be a big desire to buy the USD. And don't forget we've got the Bank of Japan as well. Right, now that's covered the bubbles, so you know how it works, hopefully. If you do find it confusing, because there is the time component, we're actually looking at different dimensions, which might be hard for people to comprehend. If you can't understand time as like an extra dimension, you might struggle. But there is an easier option, is the thing called a rate of change. And so if something sticks up, is that they've gone long. If something sticks down, they've gone short. So it's a lot easier for someone to understand. Okay, the time component is basically that movement, right? So it should be a lot easier. And I made a lot of profit using the rate of change last week. So that's how we stand with the retail sentiment. Let's look at, well, actually, no, let's talk about the bot quickly because I need to plug it. There's a link there. So if you need to contact me, if you want to get access, there's 3 ways of getting access. There's the IC Markets link, which is optimal because you don't have to pay a sub, and I'll get commissions from your trades. So it's a win-win. You'll get a better broker, and I'll potentially get more money because of your trade volume. So Patreon is okay, but they take a cut. So if you can't do the IC Markets link for reasons of geographics, personal reasons, or you don't want to change broker, Patreon is fine. Just know that they take a big cut from me, so it kind of sucks. But you'd have to have the basic tier. Okay, you can't have any tier lower than the basic if you want robot access. And lastly is the lifetime for $600, and then you get everything for free forever. And I'm going to be doing this for a few more decades to go, and then I'll probably happily retire with this bot. So this bot is absolutely fantastic. So what it does, it reads a Google Sheet, it reads the bubbles, and it looks at volume delta. Delta is the change in across time, and we can see whenever they sell, we'll see a positive price performance. Whenever they buy, we'll see negative price performance, and that's how it works. They will get punished. Okay. Now I thought that they were going to get paid on Fridays, but it turned out they got punished every single day last week. So it's a fantastic bar that fades the retail volume, and we're looking at volume delta. Okay. So like I say, any questions, let me know. All right, there's the link. And ideally what you do, you ask questions about joining, but if you want a chat, you've got some chart analysis you want me to verify, don't DM me because it's very exhausting. Do it in the Discord. Put it in the chat in Discord or in Telegram. If you DM me and ask me what I think about a trade, that's going to sap my energy. Okay, so you can ask questions about joining, but then if you've got further questions or you want me to verify anything about your trade setup, ask in the Discord, because there are people in there that have got more experience than me and are better traders than me. Okay, and also you won't be draining my battery, because I had my battery drained quite badly last week by lots of messages going back and forth. I don't mind, but just if you want to chat, use the Discord. Okay, but if you've got questions, use the DM. All right, let's look at the COT data. So we have to come here. In fact, we downloaded it already, so we can come here and downloads, and we're going to need to right click it. Properties, remember that you need to unlock it, right? I've already looked at the data, so I've done that already. Okay, so you right click, unblock. Let's do that. And remember, the rate of change is really good. It's easy for you to understand. The bubbles, people find confusing because there's a time component, but it's okay. So let's minimize that. Let's go here, and we need to get into chart page. Oops. And remember how the bubbles were aligned. We should see a weaker yen, and we should see a stronger Aussie. So let's have a look. I don't know what that means, but let's go to not now. Right, move chart. So there's a bit of a plug about the bot, which I apologise for, but you guys really should be joining it. It's like the best sentiment bot probably publicly available that you can get for like $20 a month. It's absolutely bonkers. It's the biggest deal out there, I think, because it's just a crazy, amazing bot. Euro has really fallen, so let's move that date. We know that these are weekly time frames. Okay, take that off, axis off. So the euro has fallen. So now we've got this ceasefire in Russia-Ukraine. I don't know if it's gonna persist. If it does, we should see a stronger euro for sure. Okay. So whether or not how legit that is, it may be waiting and see. We also have to remember the COT data is from Tuesday, and we have to remember that the negotiations between US and Iran were definitely like not even close, and Trump was going like pretty deranged in his attitude, and it looked like we're going very risk off on Tuesday, and that's his method of negotiation, and he comes to the table and they meet in the middle ground, which is a good way to do it. So obviously this data is delayed, and it was using the outlook of being fairly risk off at that particular time, so the banks are probably looking to protect themselves because of the situation that was going on in the world at the time, and this is from Tuesday. Okay, so that needs to be said. Let's add the yen. The yen is looking fairly heavy because we know the retail sentiment, they're long, and the banks are really heavily selling, minus 93,000. So you wouldn't necessarily want to fade that move. There was one chap in Telegram talking about a yen trade, but I think it'd be better to you wouldn't really want to fight those flows. That trend is there for a reason. You don't really want to fight that because you'd be counter trend. You want to wait for a dip and then you can look to buy, and you wouldn't really want to be looking to buy the yen because one, the non-coms they're selling, two, the retail small fish are long, so it's like a double whammy for the yen, so it's not looking that good. We do have the BOJ looming, they're looking to hike, so that may change things. Okay, Euro off, Aussie on. And now remember, Aussie was strong in the bubble, so that gives us like a context. So we can see we are fairly strong. Aussie, a slight breather, ever so small breather, 81 to 70. It was 10,000 contracts, so small, but not really too much to really impact that big move. So he's still looking for strong Aussie, going by the bubble and going by the non-coms. Now pound. How are we looking on the pound? My memory is terrible. I think we were in the middle, weren't we? Yeah, we were in the middle. So really, that's hard to say which way it's going to go. And you'll see with the pound, it looks like we are sort of trending lower, and we're making these lower lows. And it looks like we could be making a channel almost. Can you see? However, we have got that low, and we made a higher low there. So it's almost like we dipped below that, perhaps for liquidity purposes, and we had a bounce. So pending that we hold that, it might be okay, and we might be all right in the pound. But it's very difficult to say, and the bubble doesn't help either. Can you see we are making a channel? We may have a channel break to the upside. We have to remember we've also got elections coming up as well, and that could be bad for the pound because we're going to have a lot of uncertainty with a new political party, and it could be completely new party as well. So that's going to be really interesting for the UK. CAD, that's okay. So minus 55. So we went to 36,002. Minus 55, so quite a bearish move there, and that would kind of agree with what we're seeing right now, because there's going to be less demand for the Canadian dollar due to the oil and the WTI because of the Iran situation. So if that materializes and we're going to be back to normal, that's going to be pretty bad for CAD, and it's going to be, we'll see oil come down as well because of the supply demand dynamic there, and we're going to basically increase the supply, and that's going to be bad for oil but good for the world's economies. So it's a big weekend this weekend, so that'll be fine. I might look for CAD weakness this week, to be fair, because of that. Okay, and are we looking at the bubble again? Oh god, CAD. Oh, okay, then long, so that's fine because the retail guys are long CAD, and the non-coms are they're selling, so that would be good. So I might look for CAD weakness this week, maybe an Aussie CAD perhaps, because we know that Aussie had pumped and it agrees with the bubbles. So CAD off, gold on. Gold's still very strong because we have to remember, even though it looks like we're sort of trending lower, we are still 156,000 contracts long. The non-comps are still bullish, okay, but they're just taking a little bit of profit, as we can see. Okay, gold off, and then we're coming to the end of the video. And Mexican peso, we didn't want to do that. We wanted to do, oh, that's just weird. Anyway, we wanted to do New Zealand dollar, and we're just sideways, and we have been for ages, which is fine. Maybe if we break that low, it might get interesting, and if we break that high, we'll be back positive. So we'll have to wait and see. New Zealand dollar was going to look to be quite heavy because of the fact that the supply shock was going to hit the economy very strongly. So that would have been a bearish case for the New Zealand dollar. Had the Iran-US negotiations, if it fails, it's going to be quite bad. Okay. So a lot hinges on that meeting. New Zealand dollar off, and then Swiss franc, and then that will be it. We'll wrap up the video because it's already been quite long. The spreadsheet is fantastic. You'll get that included in the Patreon, and you'll get that included in the IC Markets link, and you get everything included on all those tiers. On the basic tier, the IC Markets link, and the lifetime sub. So if you wanted to get the spreadsheet at Patreon, you'll need to sub to the premium tier. That's $30 a month. And but if you're a returning member and you want to come back, we can do a deal, and you can get back in cheaper if you wanted to. But it's a great deal. You get the robot, you get the sheet, you get Discord, and you get this COT file as well, which is pretty amazing. So I wish you a good weekend, and I'll speak to you guys soon.